Wow. Keyshawn Davis's opponent, Gustavo Lemos, comes in almost 7 pounds heavier than his opponent. Yes, almost. That's right. Almost 7 pounds heavier than his opponent. This is crazy. In this video, I will break it down, let you know exactly what happened and what this means for the fight. So, Keyshawn Davis versus Gustavo Lemos. If you're wondering why they've already weighed in, it is because the fight is on a Friday. Top Rank ESPN. Hometown VA fight for the guy from Norfolk, and that's Keyshawn Davis. So he has this fight at Norfolk, and it's a hometown fight. He's excited. Keyshawn Davis weighed in at 134.2 pounds. So no problems there. Keyshawn is dialed in. He made weight, no problemo. As you know, this is to be contested in the lightweight division, which is 135. So Keyshawn coming in 134.2, not a problem. However, his opponent from Argentina, Gustavo Lemos, came in 6.4 pounds heavier than the contracted weight, overweight, whatever you want to call it. And that's almost 7 pounds. He weighed in at 141.4. Now, what does this mean for the fight? The fight is still on. Spoiler alert. I repeat, the fight is still on. So they have elected to go forward with the fight despite Lemos breaking the contract, defaulting the contract, and coming in insanely heavy at 6.4 pounds. Ego thoughts. Ego thoughts, bro. For one, this is pretty ridiculous. 7 pounds, I'm just going to round up to the nearest whole number, 7 pounds. 7 days, right? 6.4. I don't even know if you tried to make weight for real. Like Gustavo Lemos said he tried, but he overestimated. I don't really care about none of that. That's a lot of weight and you missed the mark by a lot. So this means a few things, at least to me, regarding this particular fight. And listen up to what I say and listen carefully, please do, because I don't want any misinterpretations or for you guys to listen to what I'm saying and misconstrue it. So listen carefully to this next bit. Missing weight by almost 7 pounds, insanity, completely unprofessional. On my channel, Boxing Ego, I have never condoned cheating. I have never condoned unprofessionalism, missing weight. You said you can make this weight and you defaulted. It's just like having a credit card. You said you would be able to pay this money back. Your minimum due is $150. And because you didn't manage your money and you spent and you have a balance on this credit card, now you can't pay your minimum, which is defaulting the terms and conditions that you agreed to. You agreed I could pay this money back through the credit card. Now all of a sudden you can't. So I've never condoned that. I've never condoned, no matter who you are, missing weight. And the more you miss weight, the more unprofessional it is, right? I must add, I would be remiss if I didn't add this to my dialogue. Notice when it's a black fighter, it gets blown up even more by everybody, right? Like, remember those days where Adrian Broner, oh man, AB, ancient boats, algebra books, ain't beating them, right? When AB was missing weight in certain fights, people made a big deal. Oh my gosh, suspend him. The fight should be canceled. Adrian Broner, he is so unprofessional. Same thing with Gervonta Davis. Youthful Gervonta Davis in his earlier 20s, he had a couple instances where he had to weigh in a second time within the 2-hour window. He had on the biggest card, the second highest grossing fight, Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. he missed weight on that card in his fight with Fonseca for whatever reason, right? These ideas and these reports become like everybody's talking about it. Oh, Tank Davis, you see the headlines. Tank Davis, unprofessional, how could he? Broner, oh my gosh. But then I notice when it's somebody like Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., it's almost like it's expected. Like, Chavez Jr. missed weight again, and it doesn't get blown up the same. And the same thing for Gustavo Lemos. I don't really see many people up in arms about this very subject. And it's funny because notice you have Gustavo Lemos versus a black American fighter and Olympian who is a good fighter, right? And just like Devin Haney, a black American fighter who is a good fighter, and then Ryan Garcia pulled his stunt. So it's getting to a point against American styles with good fundamentals where you have to at least entertain the conversation of, are some of these dudes purposefully missing weight because they want the added advantage? Because Ryan missed weight by almost 4 pounds, 3.4, 3.5 pounds, if I'm not mistaken, right? Versus Devin Haney. And then now you have an undefeated Keyshawn, just like Devin was undefeated versus Ryan, another black fighter, and it's a hometown fight, and it's kind of the same play. Only thing is he misses weight by more. Now, I give you guys all the information. I will say this about Lemos. I did say I did not like this particular fight. You know, we have to cover all bases on my videos. But I said this in my last video where I was talking about the fight. I did not like that he fought Richardson Hitchens at 140. And then all of a sudden, Keyshawn's fighting him and he's pulling him down a weight class. Because Keyshawn Davis in Top Rank, they did this to Jose Pedraza as well. And then Pedraza looked like a shell of his former self. So there is a chance that this could be because of Top Rank matchmaking. They took a guy who probably, you know, had been making 140, or at least in his last fight with Richardson Hitchens, close fight, but a loss. And now you're crunching him down to 135. It may be the case where Lemos has an issue making the weight, especially since he's coming from 140 in his last fight with Richardson Hitchens. So I will give him the benefit of the doubt. I just want you guys to earmark this because it's looking like a pattern, because there's no one that really was thinking that Ryan Garcia has overall more skill than Devin Haney. And the same thing with Lemos. Most people aren't suggesting that he has more skill. Like, I'm talking about pure tools and skill. Now, there's a difference between outskilling a person and outwilling. You don't have to have more skill than a person to beat him. You could have the right ingredients. If a person has no chin and you have power, if you have insane pressure, if you're durable, you know, there's different ways to win. But no one that I know actually picked Lemos, you know, to outskill and outbox a guy like Keyshawn Davis. Now, I told you, I give you guys the most complete breakdowns in all of boxing. Now, I've told you the first side, because there's two sides of this coin. Now it's time to flip the coin, Harvey Dent, and talk about the other side. I gotta say this. After all of what I just said, and I hope you guys understood it, I will say this. Keyshawn and team have elected to take money to allow the fight to continue. Therefore, despite the unprofessionalism, despite the fact that he missed by almost 7 pounds, you have agreed to continue the battle. So no matter what happens tomorrow, and I'm saying it before the fight, so just so we're clear, no matter what happens, if you get beat, if you get dropped, if you get slept, if you get upset, this is your fault. Because me, I don't fancy a fighter even continuing the fight when a person misses weight in general. And again, as I said earlier in this video, the more you miss by, the worse it is. And the more, if I was the coach or if I was the team, I'd be more likely to cancel it. Meaning, if you miss the weight by a pound, I still might wish to cancel it. But when we start getting to the 3.5, 4, 5, 6, 8 pound, anything like that, it's for sure getting canceled. So live by the sword, die by the sword. Keyshawn says he wants to still fight. He said he's still going to whoop him. And he also is saying that, you know, he doesn't care because he's making more money now because Lemos had to shave money off his purse as a penalty and a fine for not upholding the contract, just like Ryan Garcia. So I said all this stuff about the unprofessionalism, but I also believe, that's why I said there's two sides of this coin. I also believe, just like Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, if you agree to continue the battle with a person that has egregiously just missed weight, you gotta ride that out no matter what the outcome is. And I don't know what the outcome is. On paper, if Lemos looks like he did versus Richardson Hitchens, this could be a tough fight. So to give him a 7-pound advantage, plus if he rehydrates more than you and he already has that style, he's a little bit shorter and he's kind of a feisty target. This could be a very, very interesting fight. And to me, if I was Keyshawn's team, I wouldn't. You got to set pride aside and do what's right. Like, I really believe that Floyd Mayweather is really the gold standard in boxing. And there's a lot of people who idolize and looked up to Floyd, but they don't move like Floyd. And I'm saying that in a negative way and not in a good way, right? They should have learned and studied Floyd. I have a hard time believing anybody could fight Floyd after missing weight by 7 pounds, 6.5 pounds. Like, there would be, I don't even know if the fight would continue. Like, no matter what happened, I don't know if the fight would continue. Or there'd be like crazy strict safeguards for the next day. As of this recording, I haven't really heard of any of that, like any insane like rehydration clauses for next day or anything. So Keyshawn being like gung-ho, this could blow up in his face. He's calling out Tank, saying he'll beat Tank, saying Devin Haney's weak, and, you know, saying all this stuff about other fighters. And then you're letting somebody potentially get one over on you by missing weight by a ungodly, insane amount. So you got to live with the results. I do believe that, because this what happens in America. A lot of people, they'll make X, Y, and Z decision, and then when it doesn't pay off in their favor, then all of a sudden they're like, nah, and they want to mulligan, they want to redo. They're upset with it because this is what Devin Haney did, and I don't believe in that. I believe if you and your team sent the man into battle, took the acceptance money, the penalty money for missing weight, the show is on. So whatever it is and whatever happens, live with those results. And I'm saying the same thing to Keyshawn Davis. You said you could still beat him, and you know how much he came in heavy. So if it's a harder fight than expected, if you get hurt, dropped, if people are roasting your performances, this is what you signed up for. Case closed.